What's the difference between beekeeping and puppet politics? Well, I thought about this video for a couple days now, and I take extra care with my honeybees. I do whatever I can to make them survive. And if you're going to the polls next week and you're voting, do you think you're going to make a difference in what goes on in this country? Let me tell you, after 30 years of voting for presidents in this country, this is what I know. In beekeeping, what you do with your colonies makes a huge difference. Like some of them are on the inside because they're small. See, these are small. They're too small to be outside when it's cold, when they'd get chilled. And then some of the colonies, it's going to be cold tonight. I do an extra measure here. I bring them in at night just to make sure they're warm enough. So if you think by voting next week that you're going to make a difference, you think about it. Has anything changed in the last 30 or 40 years? It's about Reaganomics. Ever since Reagan became president, the rich people have gotten tax breaks. This basically is what has happened since my adult life. What happened here was Clinton, he took away our jobs, sent them to Mexico and China. And Bush, 9/11 was an inside job. You may not want to believe that, but it was. Just to invade Iraq. He wanted us to hate other countries, especially Iraqis, Saddam Hussein, and invade Iraq. And Halliburton, Dick Cheney's the former CEO of Halliburton. They made a lot of money off that war. And Obama, what did he do? He bailed out the bankers. If you want to see a documentary, Matt Damon, Inside Job, is a very good documentary. And Trump, what has happened since Trump's been president? Well, like every other president before him, he gave the rich a tax break. The first thing he did when he got in office. And COVID-19 happened. And what happened? The rich got $3 trillion. Now, our national debt has grown exponentially from every president we've had. Clinton had a surplus, but it was because of all the stores they were building in the United States. It created a lot of jobs, so that made a surplus in our economy. But when Bush came into office, the Iraqi war drained our resources and gave us another national debt. And Obama bailed out the banks and gave money to the banks, and that gave us another increased our national debt. And Trump increased our national debt also. So, if you want to see some stuff on YouTube, I spend a lot of time on YouTube. That's the only thing I watch. Look for President Eisenhower's farewell address. He warned us about the military-industrial complex and how it was going to take over and basically dictate everything that goes on in this country. And that's basically what's happened. It's nonstop war since 2001. And then Chris Hedges, he's got a lot of lectures on YouTube. You need to watch those. He's written several books. He's a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist. And then Peter Phillips, he's a professor. He wrote a book called Giants. It's about the crony capitalism and the rich people that run this country. And there's a website on YouTube called Second Thought. You need to watch some of those videos. This is basically what's going on. We have the owners, managers, and livestock. Basically, the owners are the rich people, and the managers are the government, the insurance companies, the schools. Everything that has to do with controlling the people are the managers. And the managers want to make a lot of money. And they basically do whatever the rich tell them to do. And us people are basically just livestock. With my wife's cancer, I realized that they're poisoning us just so the rich can make money. The rich people own the hospitals, and they make money. Every time my wife went to a chemo treatment, they made a lot of money off that. So they're intentionally poisoning us, making us sick, either through cancer or diabetes. And basically, the rich control the government, and the government controls the police and the military and the National Guard, and they control the people. When we have riots and demonstrate our displeasure for what's going on in the country, the police take over, and then the National Guard is called in, and they're controlled by the government. So we have no control of what goes on in this country. So basically, if you're voting next week, you think you're going to make a difference? I hate to tell you this, but it won't make a difference because the corporations own both parties. They own both the Republicans and the Democrats. So it doesn't really matter who you vote for. Either Republican or Democrat will be president and Senate and Congress. All the major political offices are either Democrat or Republican. So In beekeeping, I can make a difference in what happens with my bees. But when I vote, which I'm not going to do next week, it's a waste of time. I don't want to get exposed to COVID-19. If you vote, you're not going to make a difference because the corporations got it set up so that whoever wins, they control. But what I do with my bees here makes a huge difference. I could keep them alive, but the difference, by what I do. And I may go to extreme here, doing things to help keep them through winter, but it makes a difference. I double my colonies every year. Okay, thank you.